Well, hello everyone. You probably cannot remember me at all, but I don't know what I go by now. HJ1 Myth. I go by a lot of different names, mainly James on this channel for Livingston. This is probably quite weird considering A, he hasn't uploaded in like 3 months, and B, it's me, I guess, because I haven't been here in a while. Mostly because, well, life happened, work, university, etc. So that's probably one reason, and just a huge drought in stuff to play and upload. But nevertheless, coming in September, we have this game right here, as you can see on the screen. Obviously, it's not the actual game, it's the website. But today, we're going to be looking into Fl4k. Well, we're going to look at all the different characters, probably. So we're going to do Fl4k first, and we'll see how well this does, and let us know what you think of maybe doing some other character builds. But today, I thought I'd put together on the Borderlands website, because you can use this website to create any kind of build you want. They give you 48 skill points as if you were rank 50. So I thought it'd be cool to put together 2 different builds. One's going to be a DPS center build, and then another would be more of like a solo survivability build, maybe if you were just starting out on a game, and maybe you're new to Borderlands. So nevertheless, I think we shall get straight into it. Now this first perk here, well, we're going to go down the Hunter's kill tree first, and we'll get into that why, and also the Stalker. These are going to be our 2 main skill trees that we're going to be looking at, as well as the fadeaway action skill and the Jabber Psychic. So we'll start on Hunter. The first skill is called Leave No Trace. Now, if any of you are familiar with Destiny 1 and even Destiny 2, there's a weapon that kind of performs similar to this. In Destiny 1 it was called the Black Hammer and the Black Spindle, and I can't remember what it's called in Destiny 2 because I haven't played Destiny 2 in a long time. But essentially, every time you hit a critical hit, there is a chance that ammo will be added to that magazine. Now, I know it works differently in Destiny, but there is that small chance, well, 36% chance actually, that some ammo will be added to your magazine every time you hit a critical hit. So if you think you're there with a sniper on probably not a raid boss, not so much, but just any kind of boss or badass enemy, and you're consistently hitting them with a headshot, you probably won't run out of ammo, or it will take you a while to, when you've got a high damage sniper rifle, for instance. So we put 3 points into here for Leave No Trace. We've then got Second Intention. Now, Hunter's kill skill, whenever Fl4k kills an enemy, he gains increased reload speed. This bonus is increased if Fl4k scores a critical hit. There we go. Playing in with our Leave No Trace skill, this kind of does work together well. We get 30% reload speed, critical hit kill speed is 23%, and then the duration of the kill reload speed is 5 seconds. So we maxed this one out. It's quite a nice bonus to have. And the next one we've got is Interplanetary Stalker, I think that's how you pronounce it. This is again another kill skill. Whenever Fl4k kills an enemy, they gain a stack of interplanetary, I don't know if I can say that, Stalker. For each stack, he gains a bonus to all damage dealt. That's key right there, all damage. Additionally, they gain a unique stacking bonus depending on the type of enemy killed. Each unique bonus gets up to 3 times. Each stack decays after a short time. So essentially what this means is, every time you get a kill, you can stack up this skill and you get bonus damage. As you can see down the left hand side there, we get human bonus, robot bonus, and beast bonus. So if we kill a human, we get 12% action skill damage, and that can stack up to, however many times we got it. We get robots, we get 6% corrosive damage robots. That's pretty massive, considering robots are very prone to corrosion. And we got beasts, we get movement speed stack. And then I can't scroll down further for some reason, because I don't know, the site's quite weird. But it does carry on going for how much damage for each stack you get. You can just about see 50% action skill damage down there. Now we're going to move on to head count. Whenever Fl4k scores a critical hit, there is a chance that action skill is reduced. This is, as you can see, 30% chance to reduce, and then it gets a little bit less cooldown time. Now, we'll get into how this will play quite well with our action skill. This is another passive ability. We've got Two Fang. Fl4k has a chance to fire an extra projectile per shot. 25% chance, so it's I think it's 5% for every time you invest this point into it. This is very nice, considering if you are, again, shooting a boss with Leave No Trace, you're getting more ammo, but then you could additionally fire another shot, leading to more damage. So It's a lot of boss DPS, I'd say, and quite a lot of single target DPS. We ignore these other skills here, then we go down to Galactic Shadow. Fl4k deals increased critical hit damage, and enemies are less likely to attack him. Again, that's great. Critical hit damage 15%, and less likely to be attacked by enemies. So we can sort of sit back maybe in certain situations if we're playing in a group, or they'll go to our beast instead and just land those critical hits. Grim Harvest. Fl4k gains increased gun damage and axe and skill damage. Again, it's just a lot of damage from this build, and you'll see why that action skill damage is quite nice with this ability. 15% damage, that's nice on top of well as action skill damage. There's quite a lot of percentage numbers increases here. And the last ability for this tree is called Megavore. Fl4k gains a chance to score a critical hit with weapons against any part of enemies. So if I'm shooting a foot, there's a 20% chance I can land a critical hit. The arm, you name it. So that's quite nice considering you're less likely to score critical hits on other body parts. So having that 20% chance in the background, if you so happen to miss, like maybe they flinch or they just duck or whatever, you know, you could maybe still hit a critical hit. Now we're going to move on to Stalker, the Stalker tree. And I'm going to talk about Fl4k's Fl4k's cloaking ability. So he turns invisible. Oh, I just fucking went down. Oh, dude, that was awful. He goes invisible. Think of like Zero in his deception skill, where he could go invisible, you know, move about, do his kind of own thing. Fl4k can do that, and he can fire 3 shots while cloaked, and each shot is automatically a critical hit. Now, if you take that into consideration with the other trees skills that we went into, like Galactic Shadow, Grim Harvest, you know, the gun damage and the action skill damage, you can see where we're going with this build. And he also has increased movement speed and health regeneration within this. So it's like Lilith's action skill tree as well from Borderlands 1. When she went into phase walk, she regained health, and she had an increased movement speed. This character is going to be insane, guys. So you can see that we get more movement speed, health regen. It's 3% of max health per second, and it's not got quite a long cooldown. 45 seconds isn't bad, and you can, of course, you know, we'll be able to make that lower with maybe different skills or class mods. And the duration is 15 seconds, which is quite a long. It's quite decent. We're going to pair this with the Jabber sidekick, and don't really need to say much about the Jabber. He's just nice to have on the field. Obviously, we'll be able to see which one is better, because of course you have invested into Hunter, so you can use the Spider Ant if you do wish to do so. But I like to select Jabber, you know, he seemed good. So the first skill we're going to go into is Furious Attack. This is a Hunter skill. After shooting an enemy, Fl4k gains a stack of Furious Attack. For each stack, he gains handling and gun damage. So if we're just shooting an enemy constantly, we're getting more handling and gun damage. They can stack up to 10 times, so you get 2% for each stack. You can see where that's going with that skill. We then go into 2 points into Eager to Impress, and this is a kill skill, so whenever Fl4k kills an enemy, his action skill cooldown time is reduced. You can put more points into this one. If you were looking to, you can go into the Stalker's tree more if you want to, instead of the Hunter, so you can get more benefits out of the skill, but it depends on what you're feeling. So this is quite nice. I dumped 2 points into there just to see where, because I didn't have where else really put them. I then went into Overclocked, and this gains increased fire rate, and Fl4k gains even more fire rate after reloading. So this can stack up to, I don't know how many times this can stack up to, but this is quite nice for 10% reloading and fire rate. And you can't really go wrong there. And it lasts for 10 seconds at the bottom, as you can see. Because we haven't got much survivability really in this tree. I mean, we have got some, but not as much as you can get. I thought I'd go into turn, tail, and run. While moving, you get health regen and damage reduction. This is very nice. And you also get more guns damage while still, and fire rate while still. So if you are stood still, hitting a boss, and he's not looking at you, 25% more gun damage. It is very nice. The next skill is Hidden Machine. When an enemy has no target, or is attacking a different target, Fl4k deals increased damage again. As you can see, this every skill is just about increasing your damage, and you get 30 more damage there when an enemy. I think they might want to, I don't know if they intend to add a percentage on the end. It just says 30 damage, so I'm guessing they do mean 30% more damage, but then we don't know. We have to see on the final release of the game. But this again is very nice for doing a lot more DPS output. I then put 1 point into Fast and the Furious. I don't know how they want to do that. You know, you get a bit more gun damage, and you can increase this more. If you don't want to put it there, you can go into Lick the Wounds, and when Fl4k is in fight for his life, his pet can revive him. So that's nice for the solo players, I'd say. If you do want to go into Stalker more though, you will want to get the Power Inside perk, and this is where Fl4k and his pet get increased damage while his skill is active, and if Fl4k is at full health, he gets double damage. So you can see where this build is trying to go. And if you compare this then with the different augments, Fade Away no longer ends after Fl4k attacks at the cost of critical hit damage and Fade Away duration being reduced. So it's quite a nice perk, Riddle in the Mist. I think this would be a nice augment to have on. It says at the cost of critical hit damage, but then it doesn't put a minus on the actual thing, so I don't know if that's actually intended or not, but I could be reading that wrong. And then the next augment I selected is Unblinking Eye. Successive hits on the same target increase Fl4k's critical hit damage per hit. Unblinking Eye resets every 3 hits, so you can get up to 75% more hits. Oh fucking hell, I'm breaking shit. Again, I don't think I really need to explain how much critical hit damage you can actually get with this build. If you build it right, you can get a lot of damage, and I think Fl4k is going to be a real powerhouse for single target DPS, and more in particular maybe raid boss and DPS. But we'll have to see on release, and you can get a lot of passive health regen and kind of aggressive health regen, I guess you could say. But as I said, you can go more into Stalker, you know, picking up points here, or you know, just increasing the skills on each one of these. But that's going to do it for the first build, which is DPS. So now we're going to move on to the next one. So for this next build, I like to call this one the survivability slash I got like a lisp, I don't know what's going on, slash solo player build. Like if you are very new to Borderlands 3 or like the Borderlands franchise, this might be more for you and the solo player if you don't want to just solely rely on just pure damage. This works well with the pet as well. There's a lot of pet synergy there too, so we're gonna get straight into it. The first perk we got is Ferocity. How do you say that? Ferocity. Fl4k's pet deals increased damage. I put 4 points into this, so I got 40% more damage. You can maybe put another point into there if you want. You got to play around a bit, see where you want to have your points put into. The next perk is Persistence Hunter. Increased Fl4k's gun damage and access skill duration. This is quite nice. This works well with the whole Gamma Burst thing and the Aura and the Rift we're going to use later on. So you get a nice bit more gun damage there. And access skill duration by 45%, which is massive. That's a big increase in access skill duration. The next skill is Who Rescued Who? Whenever Fl4k's pet deals damage, Fl4k regenerates health for a few seconds. Whenever Fl4k deals damage to an enemy, their pet health is restored for a portion of the damage dealt. So you can see where this is going. So, you know, if the pet deals damage to an enemy, Fl4k's going to get health back for a few seconds. But if I do like massive damage to someone else, my pet's going to get that health back from the damage that I deal, which is very nice. We then got He Bites. When a Fl4k pet takes damage, the pet returns some of that damage to the attacker. So it's like it reflects back to them. 15% damage you can stack it up to, or it's the max. So that's quite a nice thing to have. You know, if your pet is focusing one single target and they get hit, they can have a chance of bouncing that damage back to them. You know, very good for single point damage. Psycho Head on a Stick. It's quite a funny skill, and it's got quite a funny picture. It's a kill skill. Whenever Fl4k kills an enemy, their pet gains increased movement speed and damage for a few seconds. This is then just buffing your pet for a little bit, you know, because the pet can actually do quite a bit of wander and distract enemies, so having that movement speed and damage is quite nice. I put 1 point into Hive Mind, and whenever Fl4k takes damage, a portion of all damage that is taken is shed to the pet, so it's just sort of being like, okay, I'm taking this damage, maybe is then reflects onto the pet, so you don't take all of it, which is a little, it's quite nice. That's why I only put 1 point into it, because it's not necessary. Mutated defenses. Whenever Fl4k's pet is at low health, it gains damage reduction and regenerates health. The skill has got a long cooldown, but it's quite nice to have, because you get that 30% damage reduction and 40% of max pet health is regenerated. So this is quite nice for the pet. Again, it's a lot of pet stuff going on in this tree, which is the whole point of it. Increases the power of, this is a barbaric Yorp. I don't know. Yarp. Michael from Hot Fuzz. Increase the power of pet bonuses granted to Fl4k. So whenever increases the power up, blah, 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 I cannot speak the power of pet bonuses granted to Fl4k. So this is quite, it sort of explains itself. So the pet bonuses are granted to Fl4k, which is quite nice. So I put 4 points to this. You get 8% increase in the pet bonuses to you yourself, which is quite nice, to be fair. We've then got Shard Spirit. While Fl4k is at low health, a portion of all damage they take is shed to their pet instead. This again works in turn with this Hive Mind skill. It's got a big increase, 50% damage shared, but you can see how they sort of work. They're kind of like the same skill, but you're getting a bit more damage shared instead. Pack Tactics. All damage dealt by Fl4k and their pet is increased, so additionally the max health of both Fl4k and their pet is increased as well. So you're getting a lot of health increases and regeneration and damage shared across the board. You and your best friend out on the field being the Skag. So you get pet and Fl4k damage, 15% and 50% health, max health, which is very nice. Then we went on this tree because we want this last skill, Dominance. Melee override skill. Fl4k establishes dominance over an enemy, turning it into an ally for a short time. If the enemy is a beast, the duration is doubled. While under the effects of dominance, the target constantly loses health until it dies or the effect ends. Only one enemy can be dominated at a time. An enemy can only be dominated once. So if any of you play Borderlands 2, you'll know that this is very similar to Maya's skill. She had one down one of her trees where if you phase locked an enemy, it turned into your ally. Again, as a solo player, this is quite massive. Essentially, you got two pets, I guess you could say, on the battlefield, taking that aggro away from you, allowing you to run away or get some ammo, health regen, etc. This is very nice for just the solo players. Maybe not so much in terms of in the group, because the aggro is shared across the however many players you have. But that again can still be useful if you've got maybe a badass that's just doing your head in and he's just constantly going at you like a Varkid or something, and you just melee him and he's now your pet. He's your other pet, because Fl4k is the Beastmaster and clearly the Human Master, I guess, as well, or robots. He's everything. He's just the master. And then going into the augments, we've got Empathic Rage. For duration of Gamma Burst, damage dealt by Fl4k is increased. We get, again, it just says 20. I don't know if it's meant to be 20% or whatever, but that is quite nice damage increase. And then after using Gamma Burst, the Rift remains for the duration of the skill. While standing near the Rift, Fl4k and their allies rapidly regenerate health. This is pretty big. This again is where the health regen play comes into it. You could get a sense that this build is focused on a lot of survivability, of course, which is the main point of it, and health regen. And then I'll go into what Gamma Burst does. He creates a rift at a target location, teleporting their pet through the rift and dealing radiation damage to nearby enemies. So you put it down and the pet can run through it and just teleport to wherever you've set, where you want them to go. Additionally, Fl4k becomes irradiated, growing in size. His pet does bonus radiation damage while in its hacks. Using Gamma Burst while Fl4k pet is downed or dead will revive the pet at the targeted location with 30% of his health, but will double the action skill cooldown time. So essentially this action skill works in like two different ways. You can create a portal, I guess you could say, like a rift to go through. You can create like a healing rift, a damaging, or you can revive your pet with it. It can do a whole lot of array of things. And then we have pet Skag, because Skags are cute. I don't know, why not? It goes in well with it. And then we put on this Great Horn Skag augment for the pet Skag, and you're getting Fl4k gets increased damage and gun damage. Very nice. Moving on to the next tree, we go into Stalker. Reason for this, we'll get into it again. now. So we get self-repairing system. Flak's health is max health is increased, and he constantly regenerates health. Don't think I need to say much more than that. Paired in with all these other healing skills and damage sharing skills that we've got, you can see where this is going. You can still do quite a decent amount of damage with this build because you have got where is it? You got like pet increased damage from, you know, and the flak increased damage from different skills being shared. And you've got a lot of survivability as well. So you get 3% max health increase and 2% of health regen for every bit of max health. Next skill is eager to impress. You know, some of these skills are taken across from the other build. So it's a kill skill. Every time Flak's pet kills an enemy, action skill time is reduced. So that works in nice with the rift and healing more again. And then we've got all my BFFs. Allies share a portion of Flak's total health regeneration. Flak's pets share twice the amount of health regeneration. So you can see why this skill is. This can be used in a team player build as well. If you're sharing Flak's total health across regeneration across your team, you can see how this can provide. He does a lot of roles. Flak. He can be a healer, a DPS man. That's sort of what he kind of goes with. Flak reminds me of Mordecai and Zero put into one, as well as Maya the Siren and Lilith. He does everything. This man, wow. I know the SJ's community, I'm not going to get into that. They're very happy that he doesn't identify as anything, but he's a man robot. Listen to his voice. Probably going to trigger a lot of the feminists out there now, but you get 50% of Flak's health regeneration. Oh no, I'm a bad person. The next skill is Lick the Wounds, and this is very nice with solo players, but can be used well within team environments, so your friendlies can still focus all the aggro on like main bosses, but your pet can revive you when you go down. We've got turn tail and run, and that's, you know, we looked at that in the last tree in the last build. You can't see regenerate health when you run, when you move in, and you get a nice damage reduction as well. We put 3 points into Fast and Furious. I will one day know how to pronounce this. And we get gun damage and movement speed for every. Furious is very furry and os. Furious. Next fast film has been confirmed. It's Flak and its pets. Fast as fuck, boy. And then the last skill we went into is Rage and Recover. This is a kill skill, and every time Flak kills an enemy, Flak and Flak's pet regenerate health for a few seconds. Again, we've got tons and tons and tons of health regeneration and max health increase, and I don't think I need to say much more on how much health you'd probably have as this build. You'd be a tank. You would still have nice damage output with this, but you do have a lot of survivability as well, which is very nice for the solo players out there. I think because I will probably be playing solo on day one. I don't know, many of my mates will be playing on release at midnight in the UK. So I may go into this build from the start, maybe to try and just even out the playing field, you know. But we'll see. Anyways, those are the two builds that I'm covering with Flak today. If you have enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate. No, I'm not gonna do that. Like, subscribe, push. No, but thanks guys for watching this video. If you want to see the other character builds or maybe more in-depth idea builds, you know, if just leave them down in the comments. Like, if you have any ideas, we can maybe mess around with sort of jack of all trades builds with Flak, because he is essentially a jack of all trades in this game. Well, we're hoping he is. Anyways, thanks for watching guys. We'll see you in the next one.